Today we are playing Red Dead Redemption 2, one of my favorite games of all time. We start off in the middle of a blizzard and somehow manage to find an abandoned mining town to make our temporary home. We're not even 5 minutes into the game and Dutch is already giving one of his famous motivational pep talks where he tells us that everything will be fine and we're going to make it through whatever obstacle we're currently facing, which right now is trying to evade the law. It seems like some serious stuff went down back in some town called Blackwater. But anyway, based on the fact that this is a Rockstar game, I think we can all expect things to get a lot worse before they get better. So now we're out with Dutch looking for the rest of the gang who went out scouting, which is probably code word for looking for things to steal and people to rob. Unfortunately, we ran into Micah first. He tells us that he found a house filled with people who seem to be having a party. Dutch thinks that it's a good idea to pay our neighbors a visit, and being that we always blindly follow Dutch's orders, that is exactly what we do. We finally make it to our neighbor's house and Dutch has me and Micah hide nearby while he greets our new neighbors. And with perfect timing, Micah just so happens to find a freaking corpse in the wagon he's hiding behind. So being the gentle outlaw that I am, and with the information I just got from my best friend Micah, I decided that it would be a good idea to shoot someone in the head. This results in a firefight, which results in me chasing some guy and then shooting him in the head. Turns out our new neighbors were O'Driscolls, another outlaw gang and Dutch's sworn enemy. Dutch has me check the shed to see if they had any horses we could steal. I walk into the shed and I'm greeted by this asshole who starts complaining about how we killed his cousin. Me being the gentle outlaw that I am, I decided to beat the living crap out of him. He tells us that Dutch's arch nemesis, Colm O'Driscoll, is hiding out in an old mining camp near a lake and that they're planning to rob a train. Once we get all the info we need from this guy, I wanted to shoot him in the head, but for some reason the game wouldn't let me, so I just beat him unconscious. Oh, and we also stole his horse. As we're walking back towards the house, I hear a woman scream and I also hear Micah's stupid voice. It turns out that these O'Driscoll boys forced their way into this house, killed this woman's husband, and then threw a party. Micah, for some reason, is trying to catch this woman and knocks over a lantern, which sets the whole house on fire. Luckily, we all make it out and this woman is finally introduced as Sadie Adler. The next day, Abigail, John Marston's wife, wants us to go find John since he's been gone for days and no one has heard from him. So me and Javier go out looking for him. We eventually find his horse, but it's not really a horse anymore. It's basically a mangled corpse with his guts hanging out. We are definitely not up here alone. The best thing to do now is to be as quiet as possible so we don't attract whatever killed his horse.
Let's see if he can hear us.
After rescuing John and making it all the way back to our horses, we find ourselves being watched.
Perfect.
Me being the gentle outlaw that I am, I brutally murder 3 wolves with a sawed-off shotgun. More of them show up, so I brutally murder 4 additional wolves with a sawed-off shotgun. We make it back and Abigail seems really happy to see John. The next day we head out to find O'Driscolls at the old mining camp we were told about. First we spy on them from far away with our binoculars. Then we sneak into their camp and ambush them. Well, I ambush them, of course by shooting one of them in the head.
What the hell are you doing? God damn it! All right, boys, kill these sons of bitches!
After the firefight, I find the dynamite that the O'Driscolls were going to use to rob the train. On our way back, we find one last O'Driscoll. Unfortunately, Dutch wants me to bring him back alive so I can't shoot him in the head. So I lasso him and put him on my horse and take him back to camp. The next day, we finally meet Mr. Pearson, the gang's head chef. He keeps complaining about how we don't have any food and how everyone sucks at hunting. So long story short, me and Charles go out and try our luck at hunting to shut him up. Charles eventually finds some deer tracks and we follow them. Obviously, I shoot the deer in the head with my bow and arrow. And then I shoot another deer in the head with my bow and arrow. With the job complete, me and Charles head back to camp with our dinner. A few days pass and instead of laying low to evade the law, Dutch seems to think that robbing a train is the utmost important task at hand. And being that we always blindly follow Dutch's orders, that is exactly what we do. We're at the location and we finally see the train. The plan is to use dynamite to blow up the tracks, but obviously this is a Rockstar game and nothing ever goes as planned and the dynamite doesn't work. So as a gentle outlaw that I am, me, Lenny, and Javier attempt to jump onto the train. Javier doesn't make it, so it's just me and Lenny. We shoot our way to the front of the train where I throw some poor guy off the side and then slam on the brakes. After getting into a huge firefight with the train security, we discover more people hauled up in the back of the train. They won't come out, so we hail them with bullets. They still won't come out, so we blow it open. Now that they're finally out, we can search the train for some railway bonds that are supposedly worth a lot of money. Once we find them, Dutch tells me that I can do whatever with the 3 guys that wouldn't come out the train, as long as I also get rid of the train. So me being the gentle outlaw that I am, I load them up onto the train and shoot all of them one by one in the head, then send the train off on its way. The next day, it's finally time to make our way out of the snowy mountains. According to Hosea, we're going to some place called Horseshoe Overlook near some small town called Valentine. On our way, we pass frozen lakes, go through snow-filled valleys, and cross small creeks. We're almost there when a wheel on our wagon falls off. So me, Hosea, and Charles team up to put it back on so we can catch up to everyone else. When we're about to head off again, we notice that we're being watched.
If they wanted trouble, we wouldn't have seen them.
We finally make it to our new camp where everyone is getting set up and ready for a new chapter in this adventure. And just as we started this video with Dutch giving one of his famous motivational pep talks, I guess we're going to end this video with Dutch giving one of his famous motivational pep talks.